Hello friend, welcome back to Zuzucorn's Beginner Palworld Progression Guide, where I go through some general recommendations so that you can have a smooth Palworld journey of your own. I'm Zuzucorn and I aim to entertain, encourage and offer you a place to call home, so subscribe now and join the Zuzucorn family. Let's begin. The last time we kickstart our breeding process and got a whole bunch of great base pals like Anubis and Gangler Ignis. Today we'll do a bit more exploration and begin our industrial revolution. The first thing I want to do today is to get the Fanglope saddle. This will be our Direhowl upgrade. Strictly speaking, an upgraded Direhowl is still faster than the Fanglope, but riding a Fanglope is just more enjoyable overall. I'll show you why that's the case later. Well, to ride a Fanglope, we first need a Fanglope. Luckily, it's right next to the Acetic Falls fast travel point. The entrance isn't that obvious, but just head towards the side that has a waterfall, then go down towards it. There's a cave opening behind the waterfall, so all you need to do is run all the way to the back, and then you'll see the Fanglope. The Fanglope is level 25, which is a pretty good match for us now. Remember to use Gigaspheres against it, and then it shouldn't be too much of an issue if you let your pals do the heavy lifting. And there we go. Now in your technology tab, you can now unlock the Fanglope saddle at level 26. We will be playing with electricity today, so grab the power generator too. To make the saddle, we are going to need more leather and paldium, but that won't be an issue. Paldium will be really fast with our Gangler, and leather can be purchased from the merchant at a small settlement. So let's craft our saddle, which should go by pretty quick with our Anubis. I'll just go sort my inventory in the meantime. Alright, we have a decent Fanglope here with no negative passives, which is a good thing. I'll just replace my Jolthawk since I don't really use it. Now let me show you how amazing the Fanglope is. Firstly, it has a double jump that goes pretty high, which is great for mobility. It can easily scale mountains, and moving around is just a pleasure. Second, it's fast, but it also has a skill called Cloud Tempest, which gives you a short boost forward. Although the speed of a Direhowl may be slightly better on flat land, I just find the Fanglope easier to use and easier to bring around to navigate terrain. It can even cross these types of gaps without much issue. With our Fanglope, I now plan to do some exploration, but before that, it's nice to keep things efficient and to make sure something is always breeding. It's alright if you don't want to breed anything and save your cake, but since I've got the cake going pretty sustainably, I want to begin breeding for a suitable Yakumo. Yakumo is a pal that has a partner skill we can unlock later on, and this partner skill transfers whatever passives the Yakumo has onto whatever pal that we catch. Of course, this isn't a 100% chance, but it's going to make breeding your perfect pal much easier later on. Yakumo is relatively easy to breed as well, and a way to do it is to see which pals you have that have good skills, and then check the breeding tree on this website to see how to breed that pal into a Yakumo. I'll leave the link to this website down in the comments. You can use it to find out anything that you want to breed as well. For example, if I want to make a great riding pal, I would want it to have skills like infinite stamina, which gives them 50% max stamina, and also some speed skills. If I want a good base worker, I want things like increased work speed, so work slave, lucky, artisan, and so on. For example, since I do have a Hookrates with artisan, I can see that it breeds with an Azurope to get a Yakumo. I don't have a good Azurope now, but if I let them breed, I'll eventually get a Yakumo with artisan, and then I can continue breeding Yakumos with desired skills together later on. Anyway, this is completely optional, but since we have the spare capacity now, I find it a worthy investment. You don't have to play the breeding game with Yakumos, you can just catch a whole bunch of pals with good skills then slowly breed those down, but I think Yakumos save you a lot of time and stress down the road. Anyway, it's worth it to explore a little, so do a few dungeons for loot and just get more fast travel points. And remember that catching pals is a great way to get lots of EXP, especially thanks to the EXP bonus from catching up to 12 copies. Looting supply drops is also a great way to get some free loot like schematics and crude oil, which we will need later. For dungeons, jump puzzles can be easily skipped with a flying pal, and then you can just loot the chests at the top. But like I mentioned, the primary goal is to still make it to the end, catch the alpha pal, and then loot the chests at the back. The thing we're after this time is the thermal undershirt, so try to get one for heat and for cold. Once you've had your fill of exploration and leveled up a little, we can then start playing with electricity. From this point on, a lot of the upgraded crafting stations require electricity to function. We want a great pal to generate lots of electricity for our base, And although you don't need a pal that has level 4 electricity in general, I'll just show you how to breed a great pal like that. To begin, we will need a Rayhound. One way to do it is to explore the desert biome, which is found above the ice mountain, but I find it much easier to just breed for one. All you need is a serpent and a deer, and since we're back from exploration, we can check out our Yakumo eggs. Great, we got one that has only artisan, that's going to be useful for breeding later. So while the Rayhound is a work in progress, we can also grab a Mosanda. These are pretty common in the areas near this fast travel point. They are not too difficult, but just catch a few so you have both genders required for breeding. And there's our Rayhound. And then breed the Rayhound with the Mosanda to get Grisbolt. While that's going, go grab a couple of Relaxosauruses. These can be found on the hills near this fast travel point. They're also not a challenge at our current level, but the bad thing is they usually come with the Glutton passive, which isn't good. So our Rayhound and Mosanda has given us a Grisbolt, which if you notice is the first tower boss. You can breed a Grisbolt and a Relaxosaurus, then we can now get our Orserk, which has level 4 electricity generation. You can just breed a few and hope for one without Glutton, but it's not really that big of a deal since our food sources are pretty stable with salads. Now it's time to set up our new production lines. Just as a side note by the way, as you get more bases and more pals, it will get a lot harder to micromanage everything at all your bases at the same time. That's only natural since there's really a lot to handle on your own. But just don't stress about it and take your time. Just visit your bases once in a while to cook food and make sure that they all don't starve. It's also okay if your bases are inefficient, so just enjoy your time with the game. So make sure you also visit your research stations and do a bunch of research. Mining and logging is good to research for some future furnitures like the stump and axe, which will passively increase logging speed. So let's get to building. In your technology tab, make sure you've got the power generator, the hyperspheres and the assembly line. To begin, in our original base we won't really need a ranch here now, so let's make a production assembly line with a space. This is essentially our upgraded workbench which will allow us to craft more advanced technology. You'll then need the sphere assembly line, which is the same concept. It allows us to craft the all new hyperspheres for level 30 pals. To make our new spheres, we are going to need lots of cement as well, which can be crafted using bones and pal fluids. Both of these are obtainable from the ranch. Bones can be gotten from soothsayers, and pal fluids can be gotten from kelpsea. But you can also buy bones from the merchant at the small settlement if you wish. Just remember to condense these pals if you do put them in a ranch, because these increases their output. Then, build your power generator and assign your Rayhound to power it up in the meantime. Once your dragon eggs hatch, you can replace the Rayhound with Orserk if you want. From the couple that we've bred, we managed to get one without the Glutton skill. This one has Vanguard and Mercy hit, which is decent, so we can use that for our base later on. But for now, we want to breed the Orserk with the Grisbolt. While those two are getting busy, we now have a powered up base. This allows our pals to use the assembly lines, and if you notice, up to 3 pals can craft at the same time, which essentially triples our production speed. You can craft your Giga Shield, which is our next shield upgrade. With the cement and paldium, make a whole bunch of hyperspheres. You can also make some gigaspheres to carry around, so that we don't waste our hyperspheres on low leveled pals. You know, if we hadn't invested into breeding last episode, we wouldn't have been able to get such a smooth production now. Crafting requirements will also only continue to increase, so it's definitely worth to get your hands on an Anubis army. Just look at how fast they are blasting through those gigaspheres. I also want to make the cold resistant metal armor so we can start exploring the ice biome soon. With all our upgrades, re-clearing alpha pals will be a breeze. Even the mighty King Paka is no match for hyperspheres. If you want, you can also grab the large feed bag and the mega grappling gun. If you want to make some easy money, with all our great farming pals now, we can easily accumulate lots of berries. Our kindling pals can also cook them really quickly, so just sell stacks to a merchant. Even though it seems like a huge waste of berries for a small amount of money, you can't really use up all of them at once, so you might as well just make a quick profit here. Okay, there's our cold resistant metal armor. As I mentioned, you want the thermal undershirt that provides cold and heat resistance. The good thing here is, if you pair a cold thermal undershirt with cold resistant metal armor, you'll be basically immune to cold, and you can explore the ice biome without worrying about freezing. This also works for the heat counterpart as well, meaning a heat-resistant thermal undershirt with a heat-resistant metal armor. You'll then be free to explore the volcano. Now let's go back to our breeding base. These huge dragon eggs from the orserk and grisbolt will give us Astagon, a really strong pal that has level 4 mining. You can assign one to Mindstone permanently at your first base. I also think it's about time to replace our Cativa with something, and I'll just use this Astagon because it has Mercy Hit, meaning it won't kill a pal. The last thing I want to do is breed our pal for level 4 planting and harvesting. And the amazing thing is, the pal we're after has both level 4 planting and level 4 harvesting. So once we get that, our base roster is pretty much settled for the time being. The easiest way to get this pal in my opinion is to grab an Eliza Bee and a War Sect. Firstly, head over to the Snowy Mountain Crossroads and look for Eliza Bee. Since we don't need the bee guts now, things are simpler and it doesn't matter if they blow themselves up. Alternatively, you can try to challenge the Alpha Eliza Bee on the island south of this area, which shouldn't be an issue with your hyperspheres. While you're in the area, you can also consider going for the Petalia. Petalia actually breeds into a strong pal with level 4 planting called Lylene. But thanks to the new pals introduced in the Tides of Terraria update, we don't need Lylene anymore. Breeding the Eliza Bee and the War Sect will give us the ever amazing Braloha. Not only does Braloha have level 4 planting and harvesting, it also has the unique skill that increases the rate eggs are produced when in base, so it's practically perfect for our breeding base. So for your base workers, you just need Bralohas to handle farming now, in addition to stuff like Lulu and Prunelia for their special effects. Do note that Braloha does eat a decent amount of food, especially since we got one that has Glutton, but it produces way more than it can consume, so don't worry there. I'm still alright having Prunelia handle the planting, as long as Braloha does all of the harvesting to maximize output. At this point we're level 30, so I recommend making the intermediate fishing rod, which will increase the fishing bar, and the katana as well. What I love about the katana is that it moves you forward like this. I will admit it's a little jank to use and aim, but the movement works even if you're over encumbered, so you can just inch your way forward if you need to. It also deals a lot of damage if it does hit, but don't count on that. Just make one and see if you like it or not. Feel free to craft anything else that interests you too, since our resource game is pretty good now. And actually, that's about it for levels 26 to 30. This is a pretty short video, but we've pretty much done everything we can for these levels. In the next video, we'll cover all the new level 30 resources like sulfur, coal, refined metal, and also explore places like the volcano and the ice mountain. This will give us access to new weapons, guns, ammo, stronger tools, and allow us to tackle the new tower bosses. Things are going to get really exciting now, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next video. If you think that there's anything I missed, feel free to let me know down in the comments as well. This has been Zuzucorn. Have a nice day and have a great week ahead. Bye bye.